Peace to the family. Peace to the family. Everybody who's tuned in, give thanks for your presence. Your presence is truly a present to us. We give thanks to the ancestors for being present. We give thanks just on other levels, really, as we connect with ourselves. This is your beautiful and great hip hop vibrations, hip hop healing session, hip hop gospel session, the culture, the principles, and the roots of it.
I just want to tell Red Team.
Thanks, playing. All right. My bad. So, we're going to do some healing today. We're going to use hip hop as the medium to do so. These things that I have begun to implement in my life and practice. And I hope that they are a blessing and of good use to you as well. And everything like that. So we're going to get into it. Let me shout out the DJ. Actually, I am the DJ. I'm going to shout out the song and the beat. But I am DJ Napfrocan. That's NAPFROKAN. Napfrocan, as in African. African play on words. I'm nappy. I'm an African. There you have it. Napfrocan, as in Afro, as in the hairstyle that I have now, as in, Afro, African. And can, because I can, and I will, and I am. We are. We can. We will. Feel me? So I'm giving thanks right now. Giving thanks right now to the Most High. Giving thanks to everyone who is present. Giving thanks to all of us. Really and truly. These transitionary periods. Transitionary periods, these transitionary periods, man. We go through so many things in life, and sometimes we wonder how we get through them. And I just want to share as I'm going through it, as well as how I'm pulling through it, so you can see for yourself, and I can see for myself, and know that it's real and true. And these things work. Prayer works, yoga works, taking a deep breath works. Shit sound corny, but it works. So, in this hip hop session, in this hip hop gospel session, this healing session, this session that we're gonna have together here today, I want to be able to offer you something more than just, Hope4HipHop is doing this thing, or really and truly do more than that. Offer more than that, which is why we operate the way that we do, and so on and so forth. So we give thanks again for you being present, for you being here. Ashe. Give thanks to the Most High, of course, first and foremost. Some of us call it God, some of us call it the Spirit, the universe, the Creator, the force behind the scenes. I recognize and appreciate and welcome all of that. So we just give thanks right now, really and truly. So we give thanks for those who are following on social media sites, from YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and the like. We're going to get into these hip-hop healing sessions. We're going to continue on. Again, I am DJ Napfrocan. And this track is by KMEL Beats. KMEL Beats, published on the YouTube platform February 7, 2018. And I like to have music that's going with the spirit of the topic and the subject matter. As we deal with these things, there's a lot going on in the news, and we never really usually get too much good news when you think about it. We don't get too much good news when you think about it. We get a lot of mess, a lot of ratchetivity, lot of drama. And this is just designed to exhale. We're going to inhale, but we definitely going to exhale and get free. Some of us, say we free already, and there's different variations of such, but we're going to get free from the things that can have us to feel a certain type of way during certain type of times. So this beat right here, KMEL Beats, it's a free beat, Meek Mill type beat 2018 called Who Can I Trust? Again, published on February 7th, 2018 by KMEL Beats. That sounds like the Bay, KMEL Beats. Who knows what that really stands for, but that's what it reminds me of. You can go to KMEL Beats with a Z shop.com if you want to go ahead and purchase some of these tracks here. Subscribe to their YouTube and all that good stuff. They're on Instagram, Facebook, KMEL Beats with a Z.com. And you can look them up, Twitter, SoundCloud, all that stuff. They're locked and loaded. You want to contact them, then you can buy 2 beats and get 1 free. Check that out. Premium price is $20. Unlimited lease is $100. That is negotiable. That's kind of tight. So buy 2, get 1 free from KMEL Beats with a Z at gmail.com. So shout out to the production team there that made this track. Once again, I'm DJ Nafro Can, and we are going to get into the subject matter as we discuss hip hop education, the hip hop arts and sciences, and really and truly preserving the culture. So that's what we're about here at Hope for Hip Hop. We definitely promote that good love through this medium. So the quotation, we're gonna read the hip hop quotation of yesterday, January 9th, as well as today, January 10th. Quick shout out to my pops, my grandpa. Happy blessed day. He's out in the ethers. He's with us. Thank you for being here. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. He taught me about the principles of money and how to get it. So I'm going to go ahead and shout out to the spirit and give thanks to his presence. As he would love to be shouted out today on this blessed day. So yesterday, hip hop quote for the day is, I am doing what God is telling me. Times are hard, but we live in prosperity. I am doing what God is telling me. Times are hard, but we live in prosperity. So that's the hip hop quotation for January 9th, which was yesterday. Take that in, write that down. Once again, I am doing what God is telling me. Times are hard, but we live in prosperity. That's page 391 in the Gospel of Hip Hop, the first instrument, the hardcover, presented and penned by none other than KRS-One, the master teacher for the Temple of Hip Hop. Hip hop quote for today, January 10th, is, the true hip hopper sustains hip hop. Television and radio simply do not. Boom! Read that again. The true hip hopper sustains hip hop. Television and radio simply do not. Boom! Write that hip hop quote for the day. That's kind of hot though. What y'all think about that? What y'all think about either of those? You can write those in the comments. You feel me? Write whatever your thoughts are on that, because this should be circulating. These types of forward movement talks, not just discussions, but ways that we're going to take them out beyond this discussion and conversation and dialogue into our lives and into good deeds and good works that actually actualize things, because that's what hip hop was built on, those principles. I'm typing this in here. The true Hip hop, let me spell it the way they do it, because some people are sensitive. Oh, you didn't even capitalize that. Hip hop, and it is important. Language is very important. Sustains. Y'all writing this down? The true hip hopper sustains hip hop with a capital H, the lowercase HOP. And then the next sentence is television and radio do not. Simply do not. Yeah. Television and radio simply do not. There it is. I'm going to go ahead and copy that so I can put it on all the platforms. Can't wait to get more moderators and stuff in here, man. It's a lot of work. We on like 3 different platforms right now, you feel me? And we got to keep it going. And I'm the DJ. Oh, man. Hey. You feel me? So, got to keep that going. Let's go ahead and, did we go ahead and post that? Let's go ahead and boom, boom, bam. All right, got that on one. Let's do it to the others. Boom, bang, bam. And then the next one, boom, bam, bam. Told y'all this is gotta focus. I ain't even looked at my phones yet. I'm gonna just do it right here, right now. You know. Anywho, as we welcome our ancestors into the space, you can welcome in whoever you want to welcome in to join this conversation so they can give their insight. They love spending time with us. Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and light a candle because that always lights the way. And for those of you who might be vibing with the track right now, I'm going to go ahead and let you vibe out, all of you musicians, and let the God in you speak. Let God speak through you right now. You feel me? Let the spirit of the ethers and the presence of our ancestors go ahead and use you for a couple minutes as I run and get these other items for this process. Give thanks. Go ahead and grab your libations. Go ahead and grab your candles. I know everybody got a candle. If you don't have a candle, then maybe your phone can be your light to light the way for the ancestors, to welcome them into the space. They love spending time with us. They like sweet smells. So right now I got lighting up some Palo Santo, some sacred wood, because that gets rid of all of the energies that we don't need and welcomes in all of the things and the spirit that we do need. So I'm going to go ahead and light that and let that burn. Let this candle light the way for the ancestors. I have a photo of some of my ancestors in the libation. You do how you do. You might have some crystals. You might have some certain things, sage and so on and so forth. Incense, frankincense, myrrh, all of that. We want to set the space because we're also healing, and this is a modality that we are using. This is just a modality that we are using. So we got our 2 quotations of the day brought to us by the Gospel of Hip Hop. That's right, the Gospel of Hip Hop. We're reading from the first book, which is called A New Covenant. We're still on this chapter here. I believe we left off on verse 35. We ended there, so we should begin on verse 36, which is on page 12, in a book called A New Covenant. That's the very first book. If you click the link in all of the social medias, I put it there. There is a link. You can go to Amazon, find the book, click on the book, which is on the left-hand side, and it will give you the first 3 chapters. of the book for free. One of those chapters is entitled A New Covenant. So read along, look at it later, get the link, check it out. This is a real thing. We're making real moves, and we are responsible. We are the responsible parts of hip hop, right? We want to be those who are responsible. We're not only just a craft and being a master of that craft, but also the future and what that holds. And how we kind of go about doing these things. Ashe. All right. We're going to get into it. We're going to get into it right to the now. I'm going to go ahead and put verse. So that's chapter 1, verse 36. Once again, if you're just now joining us, we are reading from the Gospel of Hip Hop, the first instrument, penned by none other than the KRS-One, master teacher for the Temple of Hip Hop. So we're going to read through a couple of these pages here together. Y'all can follow along, listen to it later, but this is a real thing. So again, there's a lot going on in hip hop, and I feel like hip hop should be responsible. We should have, individuals who take the culture seriously and preserve it. And that's just what it is. And that's what the Temple of Hip Hop was created for, really and truly. So if we're looking at the right things and we're tuning in, then we're going to tune into the right things as well. Don't allow the commercialism of hip hop to taint what this is really about. This is a cultural medium. And if I have to, again, I'll continue to go over hip hop versus hip hop versus hip hop, which you can find also in the Gospel of Hip Hop on page 63. And we'll get into that a little bit later. Let me put like a little marker here so I can go back to that. But right now we're on page 12, verse 36. I feel like I should start at the top. Yeah, I'll start in verse 34 just to recap a little bit for those of you who are just joining us. We received the libation in the presence of our ancestors. Take a drink of water at this time. Take a deep breath. We want to bring in the good things that we need and the things that we will receive from this message today. And we also exhale. We exhale all the things we do not need, that no longer serves us, and that we no longer approve of, that are present in our lives. We rid those things and those items and those foreign things that are present in our lives. So we continue with this hip hop freedom session, gospel session, whatever you want to call it. That's up to you. But we're going to be here when we are consistent and we are doing a doggone thing. So here we are. Page 12. As we have observed, now within our 36-year history, from 1973 to 2009, hip-hop was a saving force. If hip-hop didn't do anything else, what it actually did in real history was rescue the children of a scattered and impoverished people from certain death. Yes, hip-hop has inspired the development of breaking, MCing, graffiti art, DJing, beatboxing, street fashion, street language, street knowledge, and street entrepreneurialism. But all of these elements basically did one thing. They saved us. So now that we and the desperate part of our family have been satisfied, they, the desperate, are no longer in our way. We now have the liberty to explore the true meaning and purpose of hip-hop, the love that freed us from oppression, because the music industry has finally collapsed in my time. All praise, glory, and worship be to God, the love that freed us from exploitation and slavery. That's fire heat right there, y'all. Y'all didn't know hip-hop could do that. Right now, if you're just now joining us, we are reading from the first chapter of the Gospel of Hip Hop, the first instrument presented by KRS-One, master teacher for the Temple of Hip Hop. We are on page 12 of the hardback book. If you are reading along, you can click the link in the description as well as in the comments to the Amazon link. Find the book, click on the book, and it gives you the first three chapters for free. And that's what we're reading here. I have the actual hardback book, so I'm on page 12, verse 26 of the first chapter, first book, whatever you want to call it, called A New Covenant. Okay, let me go ahead and take a little libation. I always take this breath to just speak life, because water is life. So take a deep breath here with all that we've read even so far. Take it all in, receive it. Exhale, exhale, exhale. I shake, give thanks. We releasing today, y'all. We doing it. And I know you're like, we only read like 2 inscriptions, 2 verses. I know. We getting into it. This is deep. This is for the scholar in us. This is for the culture to preserve it. This right here is the lick. I'm trying to tell y'all. This is what makes me a millennial expert. This right here, this hip hop thing, this pop culture, it's popular culture at its finest. We're leading the way. We might as well lead ourselves to our own freedom from oppression, which is what this says it was created for. Right? True facts. It's been facts. All right, so let's continue. Let's read. We are indeed happy. Verse 36 on page 12, chapter 1. We are indeed happy that the impoverished part of our family has eaten and has been clothed and sheltered. So that's dope, right? We could be happy that people eating now and that we're not starved like we were before. We pray for our continued security, but their ways are not our ways, and their results are not our results. They are indeed our family, but within our family structure, we are the firstborns. We are the elder sisters and brothers. God expects more from us. We are hip hop's original cultural architects, its caretakers, its teachers. We are hip hop's janitors, cleansing and restoring hip hop for the next generation of hip hoppers. Know this. I love when they say that. Know this, right? With every generation, hip hop gets dirty because of how it is used by the world, by that generation. Hip hop is then cleansed and restored for each generation by its janitors, who work within the temple of hip hop. Therefore, if you love hip hop and appreciate all that hip hop has done for you, regardless of your artistic expression, take up your broom and mop and begin the cleanup of your culture. If you are not the desperate part of our family, prove it now by taking your hip hop life seriously. Join in on the cleanup. Your reward shall be greater than anything in the world can ever offer you. This gospel is strong as a disinfectant, which is poured onto our rags, our clothing and fashions, our brooms and dances, our air fresheners and microphones, our mops, our markers and spray cans, our scrub brushes, our turntables, our buckets are the culture. While cleaning, we make our own music with our own bodies. It does not matter what you may rap about. Now is your chance to become a serious participant in the preservation of the hip hop arts and sciences. I'm going to read that again. While cleansing, we make our own music with our own bodies. It doesn't matter what you rap about. But now is your chance to become a serious participant in the preservation of the hip hop arts and sciences. I'll shade to that. Verse 40. In hip hop and within hip hop's real history, we have never been the desperate and impoverished part of our family. We were and still are the faithful, the humble, the loyal, and most of all, the grateful. I like that. And most of all, the grateful. And this is what begins the seeing of the vision that God has for hip hop. It is first our appreciation for God and for what God has done for us with hip hop that leads the grateful to start asking some real questions regarding not hip hop, but the love that sent hip hop to us. But we can never posture like we were somehow better or more holy than others when God's actual grace is upon us now. We are humbled by God's obvious mercy. It is first our respect for God and our acknowledgement that something was given to us that we did not work for nor even deserve that leads us to explore the spiritual meaning and purpose of hip hop. It is our acknowledgement of the force that has saved us that reveals to us the plan and purpose for such a force has for us. Something happened to us over a 30-year period that resulted in our complete transformation and restoration. Hip hop baffles the world today. Those who knew that we were trapped because of the traps they set for us were amazed and baffled. Not only when we didn't die, but when we rose up and took everything our oppressors of the 20th century had, including our children. We hip hop belong to no political, religious, or financial or educational institution or a group in the world. Yet each of these institutions have used hip hop in their own desperateness to attract new followers to their causes. Verse 45 on page 14. For a culture with no central home base, no financial backing, no religious affiliation, no political organization, not even a race or an ethnicity that it can call its own, this culture, hip hop, created out of the historical activities of America's inner cities, have risen up and has completely established itself in the minds and youth everywhere and has completely sidestepped the entire world system and ways of achieving success and stability in the world. Such a culture is indeed beyond this world and its power structure. Such a culture reveals the activity of God, the love that rescued us. Yep, that is the love that rescued us, y'all. That's, man. And take some libation and receive this message and this blessing. Ashe, give thanks. If you're just not joining us, we're reading from the Gospel of Hip Hop, the first instrument, presented by none other than KRS-One, master teacher for the Temple of Hip Hop. We're on page 14. We're going to continue in verse 46. Hey, I know y'all like this tune. Again, this is DJ Naprocan. Napfrokan. I'm really DJ Happy Naprocan, but that's so long, too many syllables. So I just took the 3 syllables and, happy, as in joyful, as in black joy, as in joyful. We adore thee, as in, I'm just playing, as in peace, love, unity, and joy, as in hip hop, right? All right. So verse 46, this is the beginning of hip hop. Oh, let me start over, I'm sorry. This is the beginning, this is important too. This is the beginning of the hip hop spiritual life. Hip hop spiritual life. Not a lot of bells and whistles, huh? Not a lot of claims to divinity, just simply living a life that shows appreciation for the force that rescued us. Right? Not a lot of bells and whistles. You don't see it on, on the hip hop shows and the hip hop, reality TV. You don't see BET putting this on, MTV putting this on, or even WeTV, right? This is hip hop spiritual life. Are they really interested in hip hop if they're not interested in the spiritual life in terms of the reciprocity of the Most High good for all people, all nations, everywhere, right? Anyway, let's get into it. Not a lot of bells and whistles, not a lot of claims to divinity, just simply living a life that shows appreciation for the force that rescued us. It is about living a life of gratitude, which is expressed by asking the great rescuer, for what purpose did you save me? How may I serve your interests? Which are clearly in harmony with my own. Such a question is asked not in words but in deeds. The way in which you live is what actually shows God your level of appreciation for all that God has been gracefully given to you. Appreciation for God's grace is shown in how you treat others. Such an appreciation causes righteousness, the opposite causes judgment. This gospel is not about the critique of other religions. This gospel is not about Moses or Abraham, King Solomon, King David, or Jesus. This is not about Krishna, the Buddha, or Prophet Muhammad. This is not about earth worship or even Satanism or paganism. This is not even about atheism or some other philosophy. To each their own, and we seriously respect all and even see ourselves within all of these faiths and philosophies. All of them. I like that all inclusivity, right? However, I must say here that the only consistent minister, prophet, hip hop has ever heard advocating its divine existence and authority is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who has repeatedly warned us and asked us, "Who are you?" Let me take a quick minute to check the social media, see if I have any questions pending, anything like that. Okay, we're good here, we're good there, we're good there, we're good there. Ashe, give thanks. Give thanks for you joining us, sisters and brothers, family, relatives, friends, lovers of hip hop from everywhere. I don't really look and see who's up or on. That's why I have to take a pause because I really want to just focus on the message that is at hand. So I'm going to continue here. In verse 48, page 15, it says, however, I must say here that the only consistent minister, prophet, hip hop has ever heard advocating its divine existence and authority is the Honorable Minister Farrakhan. I'm going to take a seat real quick. I've been standing up. Hold on 1 second. Who has repeatedly warned us and asked us, who are you? Right? Who are you? As in, who are we? Who are we as hip hoppers? Who are we? Who are we? Right? Have you ever thought of that? We ever really tripped on that? I don't know. I know I have. And that's why I'm teaching these lessons and these blessings. You know what I mean? It really means something here. So let's go back to the message at hand. Go back to the blessing at hand. There we go. Who are you? You are the bearers of either light or darkness. If you continue to make your people think the way we act is right, you are in a mystery of darkness. You are not a bearer of light. It's one thing to talk about it, about the condition out of which we live and say we keeping it real, but hell, is that the way you want to continue to live and keep the reality of what the slave master and his children have placed on our people? Is that the reality you want? Or do you want something better for yourself? Better for your people? Well, how will you get something better if you don't raise their consciousness to aspire for something better? That's our job. The artist is the most important person. You are the teachers. The people listen to you. They don't listen to their preachers. Their preachers' day is done. Verse 49, what we are dealing with here is a new covenant, a new vision, the birth of a new people. What we are dealing with here is the rediscovery of our ancient birthright, our original culture, which is our true religion. We have no time or authority to critique and judge the covenants of God has made with others. We are concerned with how God is dealing with us today. If we can acknowledge the fact that hip hop came to us as a saving force, we are then encouraged to ask, for what purpose were we served? For what purpose were we saved? Why did hip hop happen? Not how did hip hop happen, but why did hip hop happen? Yeah. Hip hop has made a lot of people wealthy, including myself. The voice speaking is KRS-One. But the real question for a grateful and highly appreciative hip hopper is why? Why is hip hop hip hop? What is its real purpose? These questions reach far and beyond getting a little money. I'm in verse 51. These questions reach far beyond getting a little money. These questions lead to the salvation and peace. For if we have evidence of an unseen force operating amongst us, and we do, such evidence should lead us to ask more questions regarding such a force that seems to love us very much. What kind of force is it? Is it God or is it our own egos? How can we know? Well, first, if we can acknowledge that God, the great unified field of infinite possibilities, is one great event, and we, hip hop, are not separate from that oneness of such an event, then hip hop too is an idea of God. And because we exist in the mind of God, we too belong to God and are heirs to a certain unique divinity unmatched by any other in our time. We can even see historically how other cultures have described the God force that saved them from certain death as a voice, an inner urging, a word that instructed them and guided them to victory. Such an urging is accompanied by seeming coincidences, miracles, and natural events that line up with the intent of that urging. It is not words that God speaks, it is life, and the voice of life is love. This is God's word, and this is what saved us. Public Enemy heard a word. KRS heard a word. Big Daddy Kane heard a word. Professor Griff heard a word. So when they heard the word inspired new thought. Yeah, pain. But then they start rapping. There was no beat to it then. It was just spitting out lyrics, but the lyrics were powerful, and the lyrics were not popular in those circles that produced us. So they were producing themselves, and they were distributing themselves and becoming rich. And so those who always watch us for trends would ask, what's the new trend among them? Oh, it's called rap. Bring me some of it. Let me hear it. When they took that into the room, they said, we can't. Oh, why? The niggas are listening to it. What if they keep listening to it? What if they keep listening to this? The police won't have work to do, right? We can attest to that. They said if the niggas keep listening to this, the police won't have work to do. They, hip hop, gonna start building something, right? That's right there. If you're reading along with me, that's right there. Page 17, right at the top. Right? This is some of what Louis Farrakhan was speaking on. I mean, shout out to Mr. Farrakhan. That's from 07. Now we're in verse 54. When I was wandering around Brooklyn and Manhattan without a house or a home, it was this word that guided me. It was this word that showed me where to sleep, how to eat, and when to study. This is how I became the teacher. I heard the voice of God and followed it. It was this voice that led me to leave home at age 16 years of age and dropped out of high school to pursue hip hop. It was this voice that taught me things that I had never read or heard before, only to substantiate such knowing later in life. It was this voice that recited to me the poetry that I recite to others. It was this voice that instructed me in battle. It was this voice that inspired the Stop the Violence movement 1989 and human education against lies in 1991 and the Temple of Hip Hop 1996 and this gospel for hip hop 2009. 57. It was this voice that first called me teacher and instructed me on how to inspire both elementary and college students without ever having attended college myself. It was this voice that told me what to say at Yale University, at Harvard University, and at Oxford University in London. In fact, it was the instruction of God's voice, God's urging that guided me through all of the colleges and universities I've taught at, even though I didn't even hold a junior high school diploma. It was this voice that taught me how to teach. It was this voice that first called me KRS-One, and I've repeated it ever since. Obedience. Obedience to this voice is indeed the source of my intellectual strength and artistic longevity. All praise, glory, and worship be to God, the love that has lifted us up. This is exactly why this gospel is before you now. It is because the same still small voice that has guided KRS thus far is guiding you now. This is real. And if you are indeed hip hop, you must learn. And there is a divine blessing and grace upon your life that you cannot afford to continue ignoring. And this is what the gospel of hip hop is all about. Verse 59. This training is all about getting you to recognize your spiritual reality and begin living your life outside of the fear and worry caused by excessive material want. This gospel acknowledges hip hop as an idea of divine mind and reunites the hip hopper with the existence of such a mind. This is how I became KRS-One. Others may have entered the rap music industry in other ways, or may have been hooked up by industry may have been hooked up by this one or that one. But as for KRS-One, it was and still is the mystical life and its real effects that got me started as an MC or rapper. And this awareness is what I teach to all serious apprentices. Verse 60 on page 18 of the Gospel of Hip Hop, the first instrument penned by none other than KRS-One, the master teacher for the Temple of Hip Hop. We're on page 18, chapter 1, a new covenant. We take a libation and receive the blessing of the ancestors, taking a deep breath. We're taking all this in. This is real stuff. Exhale. Now, granted, we may know some of these things based on our study of other mediums and other things, but that's how you know the universe is a universe. When it comes back around, right? When you hear it again for the 10th and 11th time, you go, okay, this is bigger than me. We're not just plastering, I'm just not just giving you a beat and a freestyle from the top of my brain or what's on my mind or whatever. We're giving you some information here, some true facts on how to live this hip hop life for real and how to hold yourself accountable, be able to hold hip hop accountable, be able to use hip hop as a healing tool for oneself. Entrepreneurship. Don't go to that job no more if you hate it. 70% of people hate their job they go to every day. That's sad. We want 100% of hip hop to love what they do and be hip hop all the time. That is what the master teacher continues to teach us. Listen to the lectures. Go right here to YouTube, or go right here and type in Facebook KRS-One and just find some lectures. He's speaking on things. You know what I'm saying? Calling us to be elevated to a higher mind state. For real. Trillville. Okay? So we're gonna continue. We're 45 minutes in. Give thanks. Some pages are lower, 40 minutes, 41, 39. Okay. I had to get it going. I had to get it started. But thank you for your patience. Thanks for being here with us. Thanks for enjoying us. Thanks for just being with us. You know what I'm saying? We're here to spread this message of hip hop in the love format, on a love type of a platform, on a healing platform, as we really learn these things. This is the gospel of hip hop. There's many gospels and holy books for many other, religions and creeds and mantras and cultures and stuff, but this is our cultural manuscript. This is what we use. These are our inscriptions that we can use to further ourselves, further our knowledge of self, and understand some things, giving us great purpose. So it gives us great purpose to some of us. It gives us, great honor, great knowledge, great understanding. Putting things together. It's not just about a bunch of facts in a book and memorizing a bunch of things that happened. This day in hip hop, this happened, this album came out. That's just a thing that's produced from the culture, right? That's just something that someone produced as a part of the culture, no matter how we look at it or not. It is. It's what makes the culture so popular. But we want to go ahead and align these things. We want to understand and understand that everything you hear ain't hip hop, or it's hip hop in another way. It's a different kind of hip hop. Understand that we have 3 different definitions, and that we're gonna get into here. We already read the quotations of the day. I'm gonna revisit that, and I'm trying to figure out where I want to end off for today, right here. And we're gonna end off right there, so we can start in verse 60 for the next time on page 18. We're gonna stop right there in verse 59. Going to go ahead and write this in, so when we begin our next session tomorrow, we can start right there. So we're not ending the entire live stream at this point. Right now, we are going to move into the definitions as well as the hip hop quotations of the day. 110, 19, end it right here. Boom. Okay. So yeah, we end it right here on page 18 of chapter 1. And we're going to go into the definitions. Page 63 is in the chapter, the first overstanding. That's chapter 4, the first overstanding. And it's on page 63. Okay. So the first overstanding, verse 26, 27, and 28 gives you these definitions. Let's start with verse 26, spelled hip hop. I'm going to go ahead and write how it's spelled in here. Hip hop. Okay. And that's the name of our creative force. Okay. Hip hop, that's the name of our creative force. Okay. The capital HIPHOP. Right? That is the name of our, again, creative force. Okay, our creative force in the world, like what we're known as, like that, like, you know what I'm saying, like what the thought process, the consciousness is the lifestyle, and collective consciousness is capital HIP, lowercase HOP. Okay, that's hip hop, collective consciousness. Get into it. Real talk. Okay, make sure I got them on all platforms. I got so many. Make sure I got it. Okay. And now we're gonna get into. So let's go ahead and define that once again. That's capital HIP, lowercase HOP. Hip hop, phonetically spelled like hi-fi, is the name of our creative force in the world. It is our lifestyle and collective consciousness. Okay, lifestyle and collective consciousness. Now we're going to go to hip hop, capital HIP, capital HOP. Okay, that's capital HIP, capital HOP. Okay, let's go ahead and make sure we know the differences of those. Hold on one second. I'm also playing DJ. Bring that track back. Boom. Capital HIP, capital HOP. Just type it in here. Capital HIP, capital HOP. Boom. And once again, you can look them up in that book if you order the book online on Amazon. I sent the link already. Okay, it's in the description as well as in the comments of each of the social media sites. Okay, so this definition is the name of our culture and artistic elements. Notice that it's capitalized. Capital HIP, capital HOP. Okay, everything in hip hop has a meaning. God makes no mistakes, right? Like, and it's gonna get deep. Okay, by the time we get to Martin Luther King Day and the whole Black History Month, we're gonna touch on it on Martin Luther King Day, how hip hop is connected to Dr. King, as well as the entire month of Black History Month. We're gonna go in on dates that are significant. We're gonna go in on just finishing up the second chapter. So notice we're trying to do a chapter this entire month to go through, talk about, discuss for an entire month, and then second chapter, and then the third chapter, and then by that, hopefully some of you will have the books and will join our masterminds group on Facebook, our masterminds group, and go from there. But we'll get into all of that later on, and as things come. Taking another libation, and you should too. Taking another libation, take a deep breath. Thank the ancestors for being present. Ashe, give thanks. Okay, so we got that. Hip hop, capital HIP, capital HOP, is the name of our culture and artistic elements. Okay, notice it's capitalized. Capital HIP, capital HOP. Okay, capital HIP, capital HOP. Okay, now we got hip hop, lowercase letters. Okay, hip hop, lowercase letters. What's that? Lowercase HIP, lowercase HOP. What is that? Oh, I didn't know the difference. Really? It's a difference in how you spell it? Yes, there's a difference in how you spell it. Absolutely. Okay? There's a difference in how you spell it phonetically. There's a difference in how you pronounce it phonetically and all of that. Grammatically, this is hip hop. We also have our own manuscripts and the way that we write things and calligraphy. You know, how calligraphy is a writing tool and writing style, so does hip hop. We have our own writing style, not only just the verbiage and the language that we have and stuff like that. Our dance, our art, like from the ground up, man. Right? So that's what that is. So lowercase HIP, lowercase HOP is the rap music products and its mainstream activities. Lowercase HIP, lowercase HOP is rap music products and its mainstream activities. So what are you buying into? What are you ingesting? What are you putting inside of yourself? Is it hip hop, or hip hop? Right? There's no judgment here. It's just to know why you're doing what you're doing and understanding what you're doing. So don't think, oh, I want to vibrate in this higher vibration, but yet you're listening to nothing but the lower vibrationals. And that's what anything you're listening to outside of hip hop and anything. Or whatever you're putting inside of your body, including food. Including what we're doing to our bodies with food. And lack of activity and exercise. Real talk. We got to get it all the way right, all the way together. Holistic. That's the whole self, the whole body. Knowledge of the whole self, the whole body. We are God, made in God's image. We are duplications. Goddesses. All of that. All of that. Give thanks, yes. Ashe. I'm loving this these mediums right now. So as we just close out, as we continue and close out on these definitions, I'm gonna go back through the hip hop quotations of the day for January 9th and 10th. They're on page 63 of the book. I'm sorry, not page 63. They're not on page 63. That's my bad. Boom. Go ahead and play DJ real quick again. Bam. Okay. Cool. DJ Nafro Can. Holla at your sister. I'll come through and bless you. Just gotta have equipment. Because I don't carry that stuff around. It's too much. I do have some stuff and to work in tandem, like a mic and some other couple maybe little plugins, but a system and all the stuff I don't have that. I do have a Mac. I can plug up. That's it. You know what I'm saying? That's it. You gotta have all the other stuff, but let's see, because it's just a lot. It's just a lot. Let's see. Okay, so on page 390 and 391. I'm sorry, actually 391. January 9th and 10th. The hip hop quotation of the day is, I am doing what God is telling me. Times are hard, but we live in prosperity. It's January 9th. I am doing what God is telling me. Times are hard, but we live in prosperity. January 10th. The true hip hopper sustains hip hop. Television and radio simply do not. Ooh, that's so deep right there. I gotta type that in, man. That's too hard. Read that again. The true hip hopper sustains hip hop. Television and radio simply do not. Okay, let's take that in. Go ahead. I'm gonna give y'all a chance to freestyle your mind, free write, journal at this time, dance it out, whatever your artistic medium is, paint, prayer, revisiting ancestors, whatever you gotta do to get there, to get into the ethers, get into the cielos. They call them the heavens. We can live heaven right now. That's the whole point of tapping in. Go for it. Tap in. thanks. Give thanks. Ashe. Yes. Let's jam out, y'all. This track is called Who Can I Trust? Who Can I Trust? Who can I trust? If I just want to bust, and I just want just us, want just us, but not just for us. I want to love one another, love my sisters and all of my brothers. Want to love mother brothers, love all my brothers, my father, my sister, my mother, my lover, my everyone, everybody I'm related to, everybody that I'm not, everybody that I know, everybody that I never, ever got shot, everybody that I know, and I know that's hot. Everybody in the world, everybody doing good, everybody doing good, everybody doing good, everybody out the hood, everybody raise the state, everybody level up, everybody don't hate, everybody collaboration is a ticket. Everybody know that we keep wishing, everybody know that we keep doing, everybody know that something's brewing. Underground, yeah. That's how we do that, y'all. That's how we heal through hip hop. We take it in and we take deep breaths when we exit out what we do not need. We receive libations in the presence of our ancestors. We take the lessons that they give to us, the gems that they drop on us into our spirit. Along with us each and every day, we take all of the things that we want to rid of and we exit those out of our lives. We draw new boundaries with ourselves and with others, and we proclaim the goodness of who we are in God and the fact that God has not missed us. God has ordained us as teachers and hip hop ministers to proclaim this word and this light, and in a tenacious type way, bringing it to the world, bringing ends to racism, bringing ends to sexism, bringing ends to ageism, bringing ends to assault and batteries and all of these things going on. So we're going to quickly, I know we're on this high vibration right now, and I'm going to just leave it right there. I may not speak on what's in the news right here today. I won't, because I don't want to bring that vibration into where we're at right now. We're ascending and we don't want to come down. We want them to level up to us. So we're going to stay up high. We're going to stay up high. We're going to have garner good vibrations and good energy and just keep the spirit of the goodness in our ancestors going on. So we give thanks for all of you who are present and still present. We give thanks for your blessing on us in this message. We give thanks that you follow us. We give thanks that you share this video. We give thanks in all of these types of ways that that you allow us to come to you. Real talk, and I love it. I love it, love it, love it. I'm a hip hop educator of the Hip Hop Art Society. It's a culture keeper, a preserver of the culture, right? Um, and in the healing space. So we give thanks, man. This is, I'm taking this in as we read it together, yo. Real Troville. So Ashe, I'm gonna let this ride out one more again because it just sounds good and it feels good. And y'all still might be wrestling and tussling with some things that gotta come out. So go for it. Go hard in the paint. Go hard in the paint. Freestyle, free your mind. Let the tears flow. Let it come up. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Get rid of what's not needed anymore.